Now, following on from the A-Class launch earlier this year, Mercedes-Benz have started to bring out some more facelifts on some other models, and one of them is the B-Class 2023 facelift. And I've got to say, it looks pretty impressive and is probably their best yet. Now, the B-Class has been out for a number of years. In fact, it kind of came out when the A-Class first launched years and years ago, around about that time anyway. But if you have a look at the bonnet, now you've kind of got all this kind of aggressive styling on the front of the car, and I'm a huge fan of it. It looks really, really good. For one, you've got these power domes on the bonnet here, which you'd normally only find on like a CLA or a C-Class or E-Class or something. Traditionally before, it's been completely flat. There's also one in the middle, just for your badge there. You've kind of got these aggressively styled lights angling everything towards the middle. In fact, they almost look like angry eyebrows. But it's actually really cool because it's kind of got that real like aggressive stance taken straight from AMG high performance cars. And everything there that I just mentioned is all angled towards the front with the big Mercedes-Benz badge, and then you've got these tiny little Mercedes-Benz badges in the middle, which is the kind of new style that I've seen come out on a lot of these Mercedes-Benz models. So it looks really, really cool. But dimensions wise, this one is always surprising. It always catches everyone out. A lot of people have a look at this and think, it's actually quite big. But actually, no, you'll be surprised. Excluding its height, it's only 3 centimeters more than an A-Class, which means it's one of the most easiest to park, and it's one of the most practical as well. Yeah, definitely a winner on that front. So let's have a look at the rear of the car, and most importantly, the boot. Now, when it comes to the boot, you'll be pleasantly surprised because, as I mentioned, the 3 centimeters difference between the A-Class and kind of B-Class, apart from the height, of course, you'll find that the boot is significantly larger, which is good. So, number one, you have an electric boot. So it's what Mercedes-Benz call an easy pack tailgate. You can do it on the key, driver's door, and there's of course buttons on the back as well. For the actual boot sizes, it's 420 litres to about 445 litres. It purely depends if you go for petrol or diesel. Now, I don't know if this varies around the world, but from what I've seen, all B-Classes do seem to come with these, which is like a reversible mat. So that's quite good to see, just in case you put anything in the back that, you know, might get the boot a bit dirty. And as well here, now this is quite clever. Under the floor here, there isn't really any room for any storage at all, which you've got a battery in the middle from the looks of it, and then there's like a tyre repair kit. But the B-Class does have a trick up its sleeve. So that's it here completely flat, but you can actually lower the floor. So all you do is lift this up, bring it towards you, and it'll drop down just a tiny bit, and then you've got a little bit more space. Of course, you can do the usual things like the seat foldings, so 40-20-40 split, just like normal, and of course you can take the parcel shelf out. So all in all, there is quite a lot of space in here in the B-Class. And we haven't even looked at the rear seats yet. So let me put all that back to normal and we'll jump in the rear and show you how much legroom there is. So guys, rear seats. Now, I've set the seat up for my driving position, as I always do in all the reviews, and then I sit behind myself. So it gives you kind of like a real world scenario. The only thing is though, I do have naturally long legs anyway, and I could move that forward slightly. Yes, this is how much legroom there is. So me having naturally long legs, there will be a slight incline going here. But I will say there is more kind of vertical space here compared to the A-Class, because obviously it is taller. So you do get a bit more space just kind of going down here. And vertical space, you know, there's more space above my head as well. So could quite easily do a long journey in this. Usual things in the back of Mercedes, so of course you've got a window switch here. There's nice big door pockets on the side here for any drinks, if you allow them in the car, of course. Then there's vents in the back here, a USB-C port here for charging. There is only one though, so obviously if you have kids in the back, they'll have to share that one. And then there's of course little nets here for storage as well, so pretty good. All round in the rear, loads of headroom. Oh, I didn't mention up here as well, there's grab handles, a hook for hanging shirts or jackets or something, and reading lights as well. So yeah, pretty good. Let's have a look at the front, where Mercedes-Benz design these days is literally just incredible. So yes guys, up front, this is the latest and greatest Mercedes-Benz design. And when I say latest and greatest, it actually has been out for quite a while, this sort of design with these kind of two screens here, but it's so cool, even to this day. I remember when it first came out in the A-Class, summer 2018 it came out, and yeah, looks absolutely incredible even today. Now this, of course, being the facelift, has a brand new multimedia system, which I'll touch on shortly in just a second. If we start kind of in this area and kind of work our way up kind of that way. So in this area here, I have a little storage area here. If you had the B-Class before, there was a touchpad here. That has now been removed. It's kind of just a little tray here for anything you want to put in there. It's all touch screen now, so I'll touch on that in a minute. We've got the usual buttons here, like sport mode, comfort mode, eco mode, and volume. Park assist is also available here, so yes, this car can park itself. It's technically called park assist, where the car assists you in parking, but can help with parallel and bay parking. So if you want to see that, I have covered that. Click on the pop-up banner up above. There's also a link in the description down below. And then just in here, there's a little bit of space, so there's two cup holders. Depending on specification, of course, there's wireless charging in here, or USB-C ports, and of course there's another two in here as well. So just purely depends on specs. You might get one USB-C port, or there might be two, so obviously just double check before you buy. Then over here you've got your climate control, so that's very, very similar to before. However, Mercedes-Benz just add these little touches in places. So when you adjust the climate control, so if I pop the ignition on here, put the climate control on, when you make it warmer, they go red, like that, just to let you know that it's getting warmer. It's a nice little touch. I'll turn it off now, just for the minute though. But yes, that's the climate control. And then of course we get onto the multimedia system in the middle. Now the multimedia system in this car is incredible. Now it's called MBUX, but most importantly, if you've had a B-Class or a Mercedes before, you will have heard these names like Garmin or Audio 20 or Command and MBUX and that sort of thing. This is the latest MBUX at the time of recording this video. So this is called NTG7, and just to highlight some of the features that you won't find on the previous versions. So on the new one, there's things like a satellite map for the sat-nav, and then there's things like wireless Apple CarPlay or wireless Android Auto. None of that was available on the previous one. So there's loads of cool things you can do on this multimedia system. But if you want to see the kind of main differences between this one and the previous one, I do have a separate video on that one. Link in the pop-up banner up above, and I'll pop a link in the description down below as well. So now we'll turn our attention to the steering wheel, which I've got to say I really like actually, because it kind of just literally lets you grip it just in this area here, and definitely has these kind of two spokes coming off of it. So let me just quickly move this camera so you can have a look. So yes, this is the steering wheel bit here I was talking about. So you kind of got these two twin spokes coming off here. Now important to note, if you had the previous B-Class or a model with the previous systems, you kind of had like a touchpad in the middle here, and then there were kind of buttons either side. Now it's all touch. You quite simply just swipe up and down to control what you want to see. I quite like it actually. So you've got the top left controls this screen, top right controls that screen, a few buttons for here, and then you've got cruise control all on the screen. And of course, for the first few times you'll have to look down and just see what it is, but after a while it can become muscle memory if you use it enough, and you can literally just kind of swipe without kind of looking, and you know what menu you're on. So I quite like that design actually. As I said, it does, I love that bit there, it kind of lets you grip it quite well, and definitely nice premium materials you'd find on nice premium car. And for those of you that have never had a Mercedes-Benz before, you'll notice that, well, there's no gear stick in the middle. That's because the gear stick is actually up here on the right hand side. So yes, it's one of the stalks literally here. So quite simply it just goes up for reverse, down for drive, and then there's a button on the end for park. Probably take you like a day or two to get used to it, and then after that it becomes second nature. It's just so much easier to do than putting a car into park or neutral and then bring up a handbrake. You literally just press that button, and then the start stop button is over here on the left hand side. So super easy to use on that front. And the usual things, they have like automatic lights, automatic rain sensing wipers now these days, so all good on that front. So let's have a look at the engines available on this B-Class. So yes, engines, this is where it gets as simple as it does. So there are two to choose from. There is a B200, which is a petrol. So that's 163 horsepower with an additional 14 horsepower using mild hybrid technology. So I won't run through complete details of how that technology works in this video. I do have a separate video on that one. But essentially, in a nutshell, it can help turn the engine off as you're slowing down, but it can also give you a bit of a boost to help with overtaking. You don't need to do anything different. You just choose the mode you want on the inside of the car. So you have Eco, Comfort and Sport mode, and the car will do the rest. So it's super easy. So yes, that's the B200, 163 horsepower. It's a 1.3 litre engine now, believe it or not, but it also has that extra electric boost. And diesel-wise, there's a B200D, so this is 150 horsepower, so you quite simply can choose petrol or diesel, keep it nice and simple. So, finally, let's have a look at the three things that I absolutely love about this car. So guys, to summarise my three favourite things on this car, number one, it's got to be the practicality of the car. So it's definitely built up, of course, from the A-Class, which is an already very, very popular car. So just having a larger, more practical version of it is definitely welcome to see. Number two, it's an easy to get in and out of car, so you don't have to get down into the car like you do on the A-Class. Now, some people, of course, would prefer that, but you know, for mobility and that sort of thing, it's just a larger version of the A-Class, and said because it's taller, definitely easy to get in and out of. For number three, it's definitely got to be the tech, because it has the latest version of the multimedia systems found in Mercedes. It's definitely one of the best out there, so definitely give it a shot and take it for a test drive if you can. Of course, guys, thank you so much for watching. A huge shout out to Sandown Mercedes, as they help provide access to all these awesome cars you see in the videos. Until next time, see you then.